Thank you. Thanks. I hope you have the application. You heard the pitch last week in terms of what I was looking for, a debate on air passenger duty. Henry Smith has kindly joined me again. He supported me last week. We do have plenty of cross-party representation. You will see there is a slight tweak now, having come back this week, in terms of what I'm trying to seek for this particular debate. Effectively, I'm asking for a votable motion in the chamber, but the premise of this motion still remains the same, which is about calling upon government to do an economic analysis of the impact of air passenger duty. The votable dimension is also calling upon government to freeze APD during the time that this economic impact assessment is taking place. And the importance of the votable motion is effectively to send a signal, in terms of to those that are supportive of the reduction in APD. I mentioned the 200,000 people, the campaign that has been referenced in the application, but also to really demonstrate that government is taking on board some of the serious concerns, particularly now in light of the Davis Commission that has been set up on wider aviation policy too. Henry, do you want to talk about the debate? We've put in here full day debate in the chamber.
You've gone all the way, haven't you?
Absolutely understanding, of course, the limitations in terms of time. Part of the reason why we've opted for this time round is actually talking to those that are supporting this debate. They felt that it would be a much more impactful forum for us to have the debate and the votable motion. Okay. Now, of course, we understand there are limitations on time, so obviously we will work with the committee on that basis.
Okay,
yes,
thank you.
They say a week's a long time in politics, and we've certainly used that week to speak to colleagues, as Priti has been saying, and really the strength of feeling from colleagues across the political spectrum is that this is an issue that needs to have the airing of the floor of the House and indeed have a votable motion at the end of it as well. We are the highest charging country in terms of air passenger duty anywhere in the world by a long measure, and indeed only one of 4 European countries that charge a form of air passenger duty at all. Our concern is that the cost to the economy is greater than it brings into the exchequer, and so we're merely asking, as Priti was saying, for the Treasury to freeze APD until that evidence is known.
Could you read out the motion, just to read it into the record?
Do you want
to read out the motion?
Okay, I'll read out the motion.
I can.
The wording of this motion is that this House believes that the UK's air passenger duty acts as a barrier to economic growth and deters both inward investment and inbound tourism, notes of the financial impacts on families of the rising costs of air passenger duty, further notes the impact on British businesses wishing to export and take advantage of the business opportunities overseas, further notes that current air passenger duty regime is the highest air passenger tax in the world, which makes Britain less competitive than countries with lower aviation taxes, further notes that over 200,000 members of the public are calling for a review of the economic impact of air passenger duty, and calls upon HM Treasury to commission a comprehensive study into the full economic impact of air passenger duty in the UK, including the effects on jobs and growth, reporting in advance of the 2013 budget, and calls on the government to freeze air passenger duty while this study is being carried out, and to use the evidence from this study to reform air passenger duty so that it is internationally competitive and supports economic growth, investment and jobs.
Thank you very much. Marcus Jones.
Thank you, Chair. In relation to this, obviously we've had a large demand for debates today even, and we've got an even larger demand coming forward in the next few weeks, as you've probably seen from today. In regard to that, you obviously have got a votable motion, so you want time in the chamber. Time is obviously short in relation to the chamber. If, as a committee, we came back and offered Westminster Hall, then I appreciate you wouldn't be able to have the votable motion. Would that be completely out of question as far as you're concerned? And if not, would a 3-hour debate in the chamber be more acceptable? Are you flexible?
If it was a choice between Westminster Hall or 3-hour debates in the chamber, we would far rather the 3-hour debates in the chamber with a votable motion. I did have a German debate on air passenger duty almost exactly a year ago, Obviously the issue has moved on quite substantially since that time, and of course, as we were hearing about earlier on in the earlier submission, adjournment debates being at the end of the day and obviously not votable don't perhaps get the coverage and the involvement of other members that we feel there is support amongst colleagues for this. And if I can anticipate a question, having done this before, with regard to will there be people who argue in favour of continuing rises of air passenger duty. Sorry, I don't mean to steal any thunder. It does bring in several billion pounds worth of revenue to the Exchequer, so I think there'd be plenty of people, particularly given the financial situation the country is in, who would be arguing that we can't afford to freeze it. So I think there would be quite a good debate to be had.
Thank you very much for that. John Hemming.
There's a complex question as to which resolutions of the House have force, and certain money resolutions actually do have force. Have you taken advice on this, and do you know whether it would have force or not?
We would take advice on this.
So you haven't?
Not at this stage. I mean, obviously, before we would put the motion down, effectively, we would take proper advice on that, and obviously it would be tweaked accordingly.
Brilliant. Oh, David Amis.
Priti, after that pitch, I'm in.
David, it's not Dragon's Den.
Sorry,
Thank you very much for coming back again, and you are also now the last person who we ever allowed to appear after submission time. So thank you very much for that. Thank you.